language.
Anyị ga-eweta akụkọ gbasara
Good afternoon and thanks for joining us on Nationwide. I am Tessie Justin Bisong. The leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, has been granted bail in the sum of 300 million naira with 3 sureties who are to produce 100 million naira each. Aliu Toko reports that the 3 sureties must include a saving center, a Jewish religious leader, and a highly respected personality with a landed property in the Federal Capital Territory. The presidency has reacted to a statement credited by former military governor of Kaduna State, Colonel Abubakar Dangiwa Umar, retired, in which he accused the government of President Muhammadu Buhari of being unfair in the war against corruption. A statement by the senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity, Malam Garba Shehu, says by now President Buhari's administration is quite familiar with the barrage of verbal attacks that have accompanied the administration's determined war against corruption. A number of Nigeria's elites, uncomfortable with the disruption of business as usual, have fought viciously, usually via the media. Shehu says this comment coming from Colonel Umar is highly disappointing because he is not in a position to label accusations. The Senate adjourned plenary after returning from a 2-week recess in memory of a departed colleague, late Senator Isiaka Adeleke, moving a motion for the adjournment at Tuesday plenary. Senate's Majority Leader Ahmad Lawan extolled the virtues of the late Senator Adeleke.
With very heavy heart to announce the death of one of our colleagues, very distinguished Senator Isiaka Adetunji Adeleke, the Chairman Senate Committee on Capital Market.
After the adjournment, Senate President Bukola Saraki led principal officers and other senators to sign a condolence register. Some of the lawmakers spoke to Senate correspondent.
Very friendly in chambers, loved by everyone, very pleasant chap. And his contributions to our debate was a statesman, and he was level-headed and was a true Nigerian.
He's a patriot, he's a nationalist. He's somebody who we can describe as a grassroots politician. He's very close to his people.
He was a gentleman. As a senator, he was truly distinguished. As a governor, he was excellent and he excelled. And as a family man, he led well.
Plenary resumes Wednesday. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has paid tribute to late Senator Isiaka Adeleke, describing his death as a huge loss to Osun State, National Assembly, and Nigeria in general. The legislator, who reconvened after a 2-week Easter break, stepped down all items on the order paper in honor of the late senator from Osun State.
The camaraderie that usually accompanies resumption date in the Green Chamber was subsumed by the death of late Senator Isiaka Adeleke. After calling the House to order, Speaker Yakubu Dogara invited Professor Mojid Alabi, who is from the same state as the late senator, to take the lead on the tribute.
Isiaka Adeleke is no more, but his legacy of service and philanthropic humanism remain with us.
And I never knew that people can be so concerned about the death of an individual who traversed the political landscape of Osun and Nigeria the way Egba Adetunji Adeleke did.
Senator Isiaka Adeleke was described by members as a committed legislator and revered philanthropist.
He is a complete gentleman, a very proactive and very vibrant politician.
He was always in his good mood, a giver. Very sad that the people of Abia mourning today their great son, because the mother is from Abia.
The House prayed for the repose of the soul of the late senator as it observed a minute silence to honor him and late Senator Ajuji Waziri, who served in the 6th Assembly. Speaker Yakubu Dogara, while conveying the condolences of the members of the House of Representatives, observed that the senator's death calls for retrospection.
And the lesson we're learning from this is how sudden one's departure can be from this art that is limited by time into timelessness. An entire membership of the National Assembly, House of Representatives, National Assembly, and the staff of National Assembly first offer our condolences to the President, leader of the government of this country, President Muhammadu Buhari, to the Senate President, and the entire members of the Senate.
The atmosphere at the National Assembly complex bore a vivid expression of mourning as legislators signed the condolence register. Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Nigeria electorate have been advised to exercise the constitutional power of recall on their legislators as they seek better representation rather than resort to violence. The guests were speaking on NTA's program Good Morning Nigeria, which discussed the exercise of the constitutional power to recall. Timothy Yusuf reports.
There is a growing negative perception of the legislature where some Nigerians feel dissatisfied with their representation. This has led to protests and agitations by some constituents over perceived non-performance by some elected representatives. There are reports of some legislators being attacked in their constituencies by angry youths for what they called inactive representation and non-performance. Experts on Good Morning Nigeria say such action is not necessary because the 1999 Constitution, as amended, makes explicit provision to recall any legislator who does not live up to expectation. A former minority leader in the House of Representatives, Farouk Adamu Aliyu, is one out of few legislators in the history of the nation's democracy whose process of recall was carried through.
Actually, what happened was, in Mantu's case, because of connivance with INEC, they didn't go through at all. INEC, I mean, the petition didn't even see the light of the day. That was exactly what happened in my case. And Lalong, you know, who was the speaker at that time, they took his case just like mine, you know, to the logical conclusion.
Why did it not happen?
Well, it didn't happen because I had my constituency with me. Simple. The people were with me, and that's why I defeated them.
But it is happening in Kaduna State now. No, whether they will succeed, I don't know. It has in Plateau. They tried to. They did it. They crossed the first threshold. So we are there. We'll be there.
All right. INEC Director of Voter Education and Publicity Oluwole Osazeuzi agreed that recall cases are few, describing the process as very stringent.
It's 50% of the registered voters. That's what the Constitution says. Both submitting the petition and 50% registered voters in that constituency saying yes, they want to recall the member. So many, quite a number have been presented in the tens, not I don't think up to 100, but very, very few have succeeded to the next stage.
Today we don't know who is where. You have voice, what do you call it? Voice, yeah, no, yeah. And that shrouds completely the ability of citizens to even track, you know, the performance of their legislators in real terms.
While imploring for non-interference from other tiers of government in the recall process, other guests identified over blotted voter register and voter apathy, as well as court injunctions as some factors that discourage the exercise of this constitutional provision.
I'm hoping that there's a possibility that some of these things will stop. First thing we need to know is the philosophical background, the theoretical underpinnings for the distinction between recall and impeachment.
The guests commended NTA for enlightening the public on this and other democratic rights, saying that it will go a long way in strengthening the nation's democracy. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Talking health now, 24th to 30th April every year is celebrated as African Vaccination Week to raise awareness on the importance of full vaccination through life and remind African leaders of their commitment to provide patent vaccines and ensuring that vaccination becomes a right to the eligible. Executive Secretary, FCT Primary Healthcare Development Board, Dr. Rilwan Mohammed says the 2017 African Vaccination Week intends to bridge immunization gap in the FCT. Ifeoma Ojinta was at a media briefing as part of activities to mark the week.
The Executive Secretary, FCT Primary Healthcare Development Board, Dr. Rilwanu Mohammed, who noted that the African Vaccination Week promotes one of the world's most powerful tools for health, which is the use of vaccine to protect people of all ages against diseases, disclosed that they intend to carry out extensive immunization and will concentrate on low coverage areas and places with high resistance.
Area that we have non-compliance and resistance, we need to move and actually involve them in immunization this time around.
Dr. Rilwanu and other healthcare providers, while calling on all to embrace vaccination in its totality, revealed that the Nigerian government is committed to providing potent vaccines.
The government decided by next year that they want to introduce 3 more vaccines into the schedule of the vaccine. They want to add meningitis A vaccination. They also want to have APV vaccine. Then the 4th one is rotavirus vaccine.
Use this time to advocate to key policymakers, to put immunization top on their agenda.
The youths, we also want them to join their voice through the social media, through a lot of networks to ensure that they advocate for the embracement of vaccine.
As the 4th round of immunization plus days is expected to commence on Saturday. The theme for the 2017 African Vaccination Week is Vaccine Protects All, Get Vaccinated. In Abuja, Ifeoma Ojinta, NTA News.
Concerned by the recent outbreak of meningitis in the country, a non-governmental organization, Caritas Nigeria, has vaccinated some FCT residents against the disease. Hawa Gimba was at the Catholic Secretariat, Abuja, where the vaccination took place.
As Nigerians join the rest of the world to commemorate the World Meningitis Day, some FCT residents who came out in their numbers to be vaccinated by Caritas Nigeria say they appreciate the gesture and call on all relevant bodies to follow suit.
I'm very grateful to the foundation and want to commend them and also say more grace to their elbows.
Urge every member of every family, every Nigerian to come.
It's a good innovation, no doubt about it. You expect Federal Ministry of Health to be, on top of this, disseminated into various distribution centers.
Treatment lead coordinator, Caritas Nigeria, Dr. Lanre Olawiola says it is an episodic intervention.
Nigeria was not very ready for this outbreak, and therefore it has claimed life that it's a kind of preventable death that we have had from this outbreak. So in order to ensure that this does not happen again, the organization, being a non-governmental organization, faith-based, that is responsible for humanitarian interventions, we have chosen to also intervene in this manner as our own contribution to national development.
Caritas Nigeria was established on the 10th September 2010 by the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria as a specialized national
on fabricating baby feeding bottles from polycarbonate that would use bisphenol A. Pellets are also known to be precursors of cancer, and so worldwide the use of such plastics as packaging materials for food is discouraged.
If they don't use the right materials, the right chemical combination and all that, you end up giving people poison to eat. Sometimes the ink in the pure water that they make migrate into the pure water. As though you drink it, you don't know.
However, experts have advised the public to be careful on what they consume, especially packaged food. Mie Ogede, NTA News.
312 billion naira generated by the Lagos State government as internal revenue. Details with Demola in our Lagos Network Center. It's good to see you, Demola.
Good to see you too. Good afternoon and warm welcome to Lagos. The World Health Assembly in 2008 declared April 25th of every year as World Malaria Day. In commemoration of the day this year, Ogun State government, in collaboration with other development partners and donor agencies, including Rekit Benkisa, have held
as to reduce annually infants and maternal mortality rate in Abeokuta, Pant Nigandun, NTA News.
The Federal Road Safety Corps says it is committed to sustaining the enforcement on articulated vehicles whose containers are not properly lashed. This is to prevent trailers and flat belt containers from falling unnecessarily on the roads. The Zonal Commanding Officer, FRSC Zone 2 Command Headquarters, Shehu Zaki, stated this during an enforcement exercise in Lagos. Ken Egbeluhe has the details.
It was day 2 of the enforcement exercise. The purpose is to ensure that drivers of the trucks comply with the FRSC rules and regulations, that all the flatbed trailers and containers are properly lashed to vehicles. It also focused on the quality of tires of trailers, trucks and other articulated vehicles. The FRSC Zone 2 Commanding Officer, Assistant Corps Marshal Shehu Zaki, explained that FRSC is determined to reducing to the barest minimum the recent incidences of trailers falling off the bridges and on the roads.
This is a very important operation that should be sustained, and this is the more reason why we felt that we should repeat the enforcement we did 10 days ago. And the whole objective is that we are going to continue with the operation even after these 5 days that have been slated for the special event.
75% of the protection and 72% of total revenue.
Similarly, the Commissioner for Housing, Bola Olawa, said the government, in partnership with private developers, is constructing 20,000 housing units in the next 5 years under the Lagos Affordable Public Housing, LAPH.
In Nigeria today, the dearth of skilled workforce has been discovered as a major contributor to the problems of housing delivery. This has necessitated a master craftsman project initiative of Mr. King Nambode's administration.
He said various developments are ongoing between June and December 2017. In Lagos, Victoria Olabode, NTA News.
Well, that does it from Lagos. It's back to you, Tessie, for more on Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Demola. Moving ahead, with the dynamic nature of the aviation sector in view and getting to grips with quality manpower development, the Nigeria College of Aviation Technology, Zaria, has announced receipt of a modern trainer aircraft. Minister of State for Aviation, Hadi Sirika, was there to explain how the new generation aircraft is expected to provide students with up-to-date knowledge on air power capability. Emmanuel Ayimero takes it from here.
The college currently has 29 trainer aircraft, most of which were acquired 15 years ago and are quite expensive to fuel and maintain.
Minister of State for Aviation, Hadi Sirika, says,
in partnership with Diamond Aircrafts, is working towards building a state-of-the-art maintenance facility in Abuja to service Nigeria and other Western countries.
Students of the college will go extra mile in acquiring more knowledge so as to go with the trend of changes in the industry. Emmanuel Ayemiro, NTA News.
Rainy season has barely started in north-central parts of Nigeria, but the impact has been greatly felt in Kefi, Nasarawa State. Private and public buildings and structures, including within the premises of Nigeria Television Authority, were destroyed in a stormy downpour on Sunday night. Suraj Abdullahi went round to capture how victims are counting their losses. We do apologize for loss of audio in that report. You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. We'll now pause for some messages. Nationwide continues in a moment.
Change does not just happen.
I'd like to invite you
to the public presentation of Breaking News. That's a music album by Saint Ruben Okala. And it's all taking place on Saturday, the 29th of April, 2017, at the Cultural Center, Area 10, Abuja. It's at 4 o'clock in the evening. See you there.
You know, after 4 years of marriage, he still treats me like we're married today. You're so lucky. I am.
I wish I were you.
God, why? Why me?
I wish I was in your shoes. Let us swap positions. We all say these words, but wait a moment. Look beneath the surface. All that glitters may not be gold. The style of Joe may not look good on Peter.
All these boys wearing body hug up and down, making guy left, right, and center. Are they better than me?
You always look mature in your agbada. So what is this you're wearing today?
Your rib-cracking comedy. Professor John Bull tackles another social issue in Copy. Those who wish to be like others.
Look at me going to a supermarket with common 100 naira bread when my mates are buying things worth 35,000 naira.
No two fingers are equal. Every family must live within their means.
Showing at 8:30 p.m. every Tuesday and Friday on NTA Network International and Star Times.
Over and out.
Brought to you by Glow.
Welcome to the new speed of life.
This is television reborn. Enjoy more than 200 channels. No decoder needed. The real digital TV is here. Star Times Digital TVs.
With Star Times, you're always a step higher. With hype, non-stop entertainment. Watch telenovelas that will keep you glued to your seat on Star Times Novella E1. It's action time for mind-blowing moves that you can only see on Star Times Kung Fu. With E! Entertainment, keep up with Hollywood celebrities' hot gossip. Question no more. IDX got y'all as they reveal the untold. Any day is fun day after school for your kids on Pop. Enjoy your favorite Indian shows in 8 different languages on Star Times Bollywood. Your health, your life. Keep it locked on Star Times Sports Life for tips. Pay 1 month basic bouquet and get 7 days of classic bouquet for free. Subscribe now. Star Times. Enjoy digital life.
NTA Television College Jos, an affiliate of Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, has maintained her reputation of putting together courses that are highly relevant to manpower needs of the broadcast industry. The college has put together 4 weeks course on English grammar and pronunciation for broadcasters, presenters, scriptwriters, news editors, journalists, and master compares. Date 22nd May to 16th June 2017. Registration fee 80,000 naira with accommodation. TV College also has a 4 weeks course on specialized reporting to cater for those that want to learn the skills of reporting from judiciary, crime, conflict zones, environment, business, natural disasters, politics, and health. The course will teach you the ways to write and handle stories with peculiar situations. Registration fee 80,000 naira with accommodation. Date 19th June to 14th July 2017. Venue of all courses will take place at NTA Television College, Rayfield, Jos. For more inquiries, contact us on 0806 980 9807 0703 660 7155 or email us at ntacollege@gmail.com. NTA Television College Jos, training you to be the best you can be.
Welcome back. You're still watching Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. The Nigerian Television Authority has been commended for setting the pace for television broadcasting and promoting journalism profession in the country. When a delegation from Daily Stream newspaper visited the Director General of the NTA in Abuja, the challenges of maintaining professionalism, objectivity, and patriotism were highlighted. Oyeyemi Ajayi has details.
Daily Stream newspaper is yet another addition to the plethora of newspapers in the country, working to inform the public and hold to account those in leadership positions. The delegation was at the NTA to formally seek partnership with Africa's largest television network, the NTA, as the newspaper is formally presented to the public. Daily Stream, which made its debut in October 2015 as a weekly newspaper founded by a group of media professionals, is preparing to commence daily publication. The head of the delegation says practitioners must insist on professionalism.
Unfortunately, like most professions in Nigeria, journalism is also faced with the tragedy of decline in terms of productivity on the part of journalists. So we believe if organizations key into capacity building, for practicing journalists, I think it will go a long way in reviving, the profession.
NTA Director General Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, represented by the Executive Director News Muhammad Labo, assured the delegation of NTA's support and partnership while challenging them to put the interests of Nigerians and Nigeria first.
You are operating in a very difficult environment, but with the vast experience that you collectively have, I hope you thrive.
Daily Stream newspaper is already in circulation in all northern states and Lagos. In Abuja, Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
Abuja prisons get new skills acquisition center to enhance the information process of inmates. This and more on Nationwide as we join Obehi in our Benin Network studio. Good afternoon, Obehi.
Thank you for joining us in Benin. Edo State government is to strengthen enforcement to regulate the practice of building structures under high tension across the state. Governor Godwin Obaseki stated this at a meeting with the officials of Transmission Company of Nigeria in Benin. Good luck, Enani reports.
Obaseki, who described the acts of those building under high tension as not only suicidal but criminal, said the state government will ensure that relevant laws are enforced in order to discourage the habit.
We are strengthening enforcement within government to make sure, particularly in the case of bailiffs, because it's dangerous. Like you said, if there's an accident, and in some cases they have been, it means that government has shirked in its responsibility to protect lives and properties of people.
Dr. Obaseki said his administration will embark on massive campaigns to sensitize the citizenry on the need to safeguard electricity installations across the state. General Manager, Transmission Company of Nigeria, Benin Region, Mr. Victor Adewumi, said a distance of 50 meters between the high tension and the structure must be observed while putting up a structure close to the high tension.
When you put your buildings under power line, you are endangering your life.
Some persons were reported to have been electrocuted in Calabar recently at a football viewing center built under a high tension conductor. In Benin, I am Goodluck Inaini, NTA News.
The federal government has been urged to urgently consider the classification of prisons and cells for inmates in the country to separate hardened criminals from other categories of offenders as part of prisons reforms. The Catholic Bishop of Uromi Diocese, Most Reverend Donatus Ogun, made the appeal at the Donation of Skills Acquisition Center to federal prisons, Abuja, Edo State, to aid the training of inmates. Kelvin Ewonaye has details.
The Skills Acquisition Center has facilities for training in tailoring, barbing, laundering, and general computer appreciation programs. It is to assist in the training of the 272 inmates at the federal prisons, Abuja. Most Reverend Dr. Donatus Ogun said the Catholic Church, through the Justice Development and Peace Commission, JDPC, will continue to do its best for the inmates, noting that it is time for government to take concrete steps at actualizing its prisons reform initiative because the conditions at the nation's prisons are worsening.
We also worry that sometimes people come in, they go out and they are back in a short time, as Father mentioned. And we say, well, sometimes it's because they go back and there is nothing to fall back to.
Assistant Controller of Prisons, John Oreabure, pledged to put the facilities into good use for the benefit of the inmates. In Abuja, Kelvin Ewonaye, NTA News.
The Oba of Benin, Ewa II, is advocating balanced and unbiased reporting of activities in the Benin Kingdom. This was at the Maiden Media Party held at the palace in Benin City. Muhammad Abdul Kadri reports.
The Oba of Benin tasks journalists to report facts and not fiction.
Whoever brings money, the paper publishes their reports or their article or their write-ups without verifying their information that is being written about, particularly with the Benin Traditional Council, if it has to do with the palace. We can only speak about the palace, we can only speak about the culture of Benin, we can only speak about what we know.
He challenged members of the Fourth Estate of the realm to embrace professionalism and shun sensationalism. He warned against capitalizing on what he described inconsequential matters concerning the Benin Kingdom to misinform members of the public.
The integrity of our union cannot be compromised, and the sanctity of this palace too cannot also be compromised.
One challenge we've ever had is that of being accessible to information.
Journalists' interaction with the Oba of Benin, the first in 6 months after his coronation last year, no doubt fostered media traditional institutions synergy, as well as it is being considered a very rare privilege meeting the Ogidigan on his stool. Oba Tokeye is in Benin. Muhammad Abdul Kadri, NTA News.
And that's it from Benin. It's over to Abuja now for the rest of Nationwide News.
Thank you, Obey. The devastating loss of lives and property caused by terrorist attacks calls for concerted approach and efforts by all for it to be adequately nipped. This was the position of Speaker at the National Counter-Terrorism Strategy held in Uyo. Edidion Iba has details. We'll bring you details of that report in our subsequent bulletin. Moving ahead, about 27 suspects have been paraded by the Oyo State Command of the police for alleged armed robbery, kidnapping and stealing. Odenka Folarimi reports that 3 women and a foreigner were among the suspects.
The necessity to find shelter and provide gainful economic means of survival have led many to ignore things that ordinarily endanger their lives and businesses. This is a common sight at high business or density areas such as Uji, Bere, Molete, and other parts of Ibadan for this negligence. Many of these perpetrators are aware of the dangers inherent in their actions, but are unwilling to change.
They told us about the setback, so we have to accept this. There's nothing we can do because it's for our own benefit.
Many people are so stubborn and they will not yield to correction in time, because they are adamant.
The ongoing expansion of major roads in Ibadan and relocation of electricity poles may bring dangers close to some people if no proper planning is done beforehand.
The setback to the center is even much. By the time you don't maintain the normal setback, we move in and demolish.
So basically what's going to happen is going to be a handshake. It's going to be that, okay, look, we have identified structures, under high tension, and how do we work around it? I mean, the details will be worked out. But
to avoid dangers relating to electrocution, they suggested that obedience to setback on low and high tension electricity poles is compulsory for all individuals in Ibadan. Femi Afolabi, NTA News.
Let's now go back to our earlier report coming from Kefi. Raining season has barely started in north-central part of Nigeria, but the impact has been greatly felt in Kefi, Nasarawa State. Private and public buildings and structures, including within the premises of the Nigerian Television Authority, were destroyed in a stomach downpour on Sunday night. Suraj Abdullahi went round to capture how victims are counting their losses and filed in this report.
This motorcycle mechanic looks forlorn as a result of the raising of his makeshift tent by the heavy downpour occasioned in Kepi metropolis and his environs. Both public and private structure, including NTA Cafe, have been affected, as seen in the littering of debris and the dangerous hanging of electrical cables.
We are really affected in a very serious way, because you find out that our transmitter room, the roof is already off. Our generator room, in fact our fence, it has demolished, has come down.
While counting their losses, the victims also appealed to government and other well-meaning Nigerians to come to their aid.
I'm radio repairer. I spare all my electronics inside. Go there, enter the people's property there.
Thing happened and nobody's died. That is the only thing when I need from people to pray for us. God, if you keep us alive today, will continue to protect us.
Who need assistance, the country, look at how the country is with the recession and so on. Please, I would like to call government to please help people. There are a lot of people in town. When you go, you find out they don't even have what to do.
Artisans also have a field day as they are fully engaged. From Kefi, Suraj Abdullahi, NTA News.
We'll now head on to Maiduguri, where internally displaced persons of Polka Town in Gwoza local government area finally return home to reunite with their families. Naomi is our guide on this and more. Hello.
Nigerian military has been given a pass mark over its treatment of detainees in military detention facilities. This was the verdict of Global Amnesty Watch Foundation after a fact-finding visit to Maiduguri detention centers in Maiduguri. Lami Ali reports.
The fact-finding visit to assess the state of detainees in military custody was in line with its mandate of ensuring that inmates are treated with dignity. It was also in response to information received by the Global Amnesty Watch that meningitis has, in the words of country representative of the body, Helen Adeshola, found its way into the military facility.
Following extensive interviews with some of the inmates, we would like to mention that from our findings, the primary cause of death at the facility was heat waves and not meningitis as earlier reported. Overall, our finding is that everything is in order at the detention center.
She, however, pointed out that the military detention facility in Maiduguri, as those in many other countries dealing with similar issues, require additional intervention to enable authorities better cater for inmates. The country representative urged the Borno State government to wake up to its responsibility of also making provisions for the detainees despite their suspected linkage with Boko Haram terrorist group. In Maiduguri, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Ahead of the deadline set up for the relocation of internally displaced persons to their communities, IDPs in Gwoza local government of Borno State have moved to Polka Town in the area following the liberation of their areas by the Nigerian army. Yagum Subukar has the details.
Their resilience, majority of the people of Polka Town in Gwoza local government area of Borno State have never left their town throughout the years of insurgency, and even when the town was captured by the Boko Haram insurgents, they stayed with them. However, those living in remote villages and behind the hills who also remained there for fear of Boko Haram insurgents or held hostage by the insurgents have started moving into Polka, a bigger town, months ago, following the liberation of their areas by the Nigerian military. Faced with lots of challenges, the IDPs were settled in 2 camps within Polka Town for some kind of assistance to be provided to them. While going around the satellite camps, which include one set up by International Organization of Migration and General Hospital Camp, Senator Mohammed Alindumi, whose constituency the area belongs, urged the IDPs to be prayerful, patient, and cooperate with official and security personnel in order to achieve total peace. The senator and stakeholders had during the visit flagged off the distribution of relief materials to IDPs facilitated by Senator Alindumi through the International Organization of Migration. In Maiduguri, Yagum Subukar, NTA News.
The United Nations Development Program, UNDP, and Japanese government, in collaboration with Borno State government, have distributed livelihood support items worth millions of naira to IDPs in Burma as they prepare to return to their places of Arbord. Lami Ali reports.
Among the items distributed are sewing machines, vulcanizing machines, 255 irrigation water pumps, 150 cows, among others. Professor Babagana Umar Zulum, while presenting the items to beneficiaries, restated the resolve of the state government to cater for displaced persons and advised them to utilize the items for the purpose intended. The commanding officer in Bama, Colonel Adamulaka, and the former caretaker chairman of the council, Mada Ali Abuja, commended the Borno state government and international donor agencies for assisting IDPs in the state. In the meantime, the commissioner has visited the 1,600 returnees from Kirawa and Banki at Bama IDPs camp, during which he directed the drilling of 2 more boreholes to prevent water shortage in view of the large number of the new arrivals. Professor Babagana Umar Zulum also inspected ongoing reconstruction projects at Kasgula and Bukar Taylor areas in Maiduguri. Lami Ali, NTA News.
And that does it from Maiduguri. Tessie is back to you in Abuja. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Naomi. And a quick look at security matters. About 27 suspects have been paraded by the Oyo State Command of the police for alleged armed robbery, kidnapping and stealing. Odeyinka Folarami reports that 3 women and a foreigner were among the suspects.
Out of the 27 suspects were paraded for armed robbery and kidnapping within Oyo State and other neighboring states in the southwest. The 3 women among them were alleged of keeping guns and receiving stolen items from one of the gangs said to have been terrorizing residents of Amuloko and environs in Ibadan, the state capital. 6 other suspects were nabbed for housebreaking and stealing. Also paraded was a Beninese chef who allegedly stole a sum of $59,000 and another 3,400,000 naira from his master, and was planning to travel abroad before his arrest.
If they are going to recruit any domestic staff, either a cook, a driver, or anybody that is going to work closely with them, they should bring them to the police for profiling. The police has what we call Central Criminal Registry. They'll be able to check if he has any criminal record.
Items recovered from him and other 26 suspects are 1,500,000 naira, travel documents, 11 vehicles, arms and ammunition in Ibadan. Oyeyinka Folarami, NTA News.
Matters, more attention has been drawn to the need for attitudinal change and increasing environmental literacy aimed at checking degradation, fragmentation and other activities currently threatening Nigeria's biodiversity and natural resources. The United States Ambassador to Nigeria, Stuart Symington, stated this in Calabar when he visited the drill ranch of the world's most endangered species. Umar Basidit completes this report.
With Nigeria's rich forest reserve facing increasing threats from overhunting, illicit logging, uncontrolled fire amongst other practices, improved environmental sustainability through policies, reforestation programs and conservation projects have become necessary. The challenge of managing the flora and fauna for the benefits of future generations is the task which every Nigerian must rise up to in view of the abundant opportunities in promoting socio-economic activities.
Ought to be able to identify those species that are uniquely Nigerian. But if you all had seen in the eyes of some of these remarkable creatures something that's found nowhere else in the world, I bet you'd share the wow and the why and the what next.
Deputy Conservator of the Cross River National Park, Caroline Olori, and the Director, Technical Programs, Nigerian Conservation Foundation, Dr. Joseph Onoja, speak on conservation efforts within the country.
For us as Nigerians to appreciate what we have, the treasures that we have, if every Nigerian appreciates it the way the National Park appreciates, we will all work together to preserve this wonderful treasures God has given.
We target the young ones. We target the children, because tomorrow we believe that they will be policymakers, because tomorrow we believe that they will be in the places of authority where they can make laws.
Research indicates that Cross River harbors 2/3 of Nigeria's rainforest, and the Cross River gorilla is the world's most endangered ape, with Cross River National Park being one of the world's 25 biodiversity hotspots. In Calabar, Umar Basidate, NTA News.
The new Director General, National Council for Arts and Culture, Otumba Segun Runshewe, has formally assumed office, with a call on the staff to support his plan of repositioning the council. Shaibu Onoze Yakubu has details.
While interacting with staff of the National Council for Arts and Culture, the new Director General, Otumba Segun Runshewe, emphasized that in line with the federal government's drive to diversify the economy, there is the need to redouble commitment at developing and promoting the best of arts and culture in the country to generate resources for national integration, unity, as well as to serve as a catalyst for sustainable growth and development.
As the cultural bank, Central Bank of Nigeria. Yes, if Central Bank is there, the Cultural Central Bank of Nigeria and Art is right here. We're going to work together with all the states, and we take over all the carnivals and festivals and tell the story of Nigeria as it is. We'll not wait for anybody again to tell our story for us.
The new Director General, National Council for Arts and Culture, Otumba Segun Runshewe, who was appointed on the 31st of March 2017, is taking over the mantle of leadership from his predecessor, Mrs. Dayo Keshi. In Abuja, Shaibu Onoze Yakubu, NTA News.
And now to sports. Teams continue to intensify efforts for medals haul at the ongoing 25th Nuga Games in Makurdi, as Akwa Ibom State emerged the winners of National Junior Judo competition in Port Harcourt. Kene Emagbodike brings us up to speed on sports.
With few days to the end of the Nigerian University Games, teams have continued their search for medals as Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University Bauchi qualified for men's volleyball final for the first time. Ahmadu Bello University Zaria are aiming for their 14th title in men's basketball after beating Adekule Ajasin University Akombwa Akoko Ondo State 104 to 55 points.
We play a very good defensive game. And we're a very good defensive team, and we play the fast break. The fast break is playing transition is our game. So we take advantage of slow recovery of our opponents, and we capitalize on that.
The Abuja Tennis Club weekend emerged champions of the 3rd edition of Abuja Inter-Club Tennis Tournament with a 3-1 overall win against two-time winners Abuja Country Club. And the dual men's singles final